வெல்கம் பேக். இது உங்கள் சங்கமம். தொடர்ந்தும் கார்த்திக்குடன் நாங்கள் பேசலாம். You actually learned the saxophone too, right? Formally.
Yeah. One of the, as I said, my Western guru, Abdul Sattar sir, when I started training for flute, studying Western music, he had a vision for me. He wanted me to become a performer and a recording artist, plus also an arranger and orchestrator. And he said, you should be doubling on other instruments too. As you're playing, you know, and one of the best doubles I've seen is the saxophone and the clarinet, and so I started working on them. Similar principles, but in terms of music, once you understand the music format and learn the technique of the instrument, then bringing it together is not too difficult. As long as you're willing to dedicate yourself to hours of practice, that's the important thing. Your music knowledge build பண்ணிட்டு டெக்னிக்கும் பில்ட் பண்ணிட்டு ரெண்டையும் கம்பைன் பண்ணுறதுக்கு செப்பரேட் ப்ராக்டிஸ் வேணும். அது ரெண்டும் பண்ண முடிஞ்சா then you can do that. And I spent most of my childhood and my youth doing that, with giving up a lot of my other things. I don't complain. I mean, watching TV, partying, அதெல்லாம் கட் பண்ணிட்டு I used to spend a lot of time doing this because I was fascinated by this world of music.
Definitely. But நிறைய நேரம் பேசிக்கொண்டே இருக்கிறோம். So we would definitely love to hear something from you.
Sure. What I was thinking was, one of the prime influences in my life has been in Hindustani music, has been my guru Pandit Janardhan Mitta and my vocal style guru Pandit Krishnanand. ரெண்டு பேரும் வந்து first I studied vocal style for the flute with Pandit Krishnanand. He is an exponent of Gharana, which is the most respected for vocal style of Hindustani music. It's called the Kirana Gharana. He comes from that tradition. So he was an amazing teacher, and also he would make beautiful compositions out of the rags that stay on with you for life, right? So andamari or teacher kedachis, I am very, very fortunate that I got teachers do that. Unfortunately, he left us in 2003. Then having studied the vocal style, I went to study the instrumental style from Pandit Janardhan Mitta. He's a sitar player, and his guru Pandit Ravi Shankar. Everybody knows Pandit Ravi Shankar ji. He was called the godfather of world music.
Definitely.
Right? So after such a wonderful innings which spanned almost 90 years, he left us last year, right? So this is something I would like to start with a composition of his, which I'm not going to tell you the name what it is. Most people don't know that he wrote this song too. But it is one of the most popular tunes which people got up listening to on the radio every day.
Wow.
Right? That was his major, I mean, of course he did fantastic contributions to the world of music. One of his contributions which I think everybody knows. That is what I'm going to play on next, on the soprano sax. I will do that on the soprano sax. And this, I want to be a tribute to Pandit Ravi Shankar ji for having given me such a wonderful guru in Pandit Janardhan Mitta. And also what I'd like to say is, நம்ம தமிழ் மியூசிக் வந்து தமிழ் ஃபிலிம் மியூசிக்காக இருந்தாலும் வந்து அது வந்து தனியாக பார்க்கக்கூடாது. இட்ஸ் மோஸ்ட் பீப்புள் திங்க் தமிழ் மியூசிக்கு இருக்கிற தன்மை வேறு எதுலையுமே இல்லைன்றது. அந்த மாதிரி பண்ணும்போது நம்ம என்ன பண்ணால் நம்மளே we are putting ourselves into a very small bucket. Right? எவ்வளோ மியூசிக்கல் இன்ஃப்ளூயன்சஸ் வளர்ந்தது தான் தமிழ் மியூசிக். அதே மாதிரி நம்ம மியூசிக்கை மற்றவங்களை இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கு. அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு மனப்பான்மையோட மியூசிஷியனாக இருக்கும்போது அந்த லாங்குவேஜ் பேரியரை எடுத்துட்டு மியூசிக் மட்டும் ரசிக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு மனப்பான்மை வேணும். அதில் பாலிடிக்ஸ் இல்லாமல் that is what I feel. இல்லையா இப்போ விஸ்வநாதன் சார் எடுத்துக்கோங்க, விஸ்வநாதன் ராமமூர்த்தி, தேவா சார், இளையராஜா சார், A.R. Rahman, all of them had influences from Hindustani, from Western. Raja also, avarum very strong Bach follower. He loves the Baroque. Our compositions allang kuda inspired by that. He's one of the only Indian composers who can write invertible counterpoint, which is a unique technique of Bach. Adhe mari Rahman sir edthina a lot of jazz rock influences, right? The bass lines and the grooves and even the instrumentation. But still the Tamil music is there in it. So Tamil we have to open ourselves and listen to all forms and accept the reality that all these different genres have influenced us in our growth.
Definitely.
எல்லாம் நாய்ஸ் இல்லையா? எல்லா மியூசிக்கும் நாய்ஸ்ன்னு சொல்லி ஒதுக்கி வைக்க முடியாது. எல்லாத்துலேயும் இப்போ நான் சொன்ன இந்த சாஃப்ட் ஜாஸ் இருக்கு, வெஸ்டர்ன் கிளாசிக்கல் இருக்கு, ஈவன் கிளாசிக் ராக் ஹேஸ் அ ஸ்ட்ராங் இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் ஆன் அவர் மியூசிக் நவ். And அதனால இப்போ youth are listening to our music too. So that is a contribution, right? Music also becomes better in the chord work and the guitar and the instrumentation. Violin எடுத்தீங்கனாலே it's not our instrument, but it's playing the most important role on the Carnatic platform. Definitely. We have to accept that. அந்த காலத்துலயே அது global ஆயிடுச்சு. Right? So we have to accept the fact that music is music. Let's not divide. So every form of music has influence in other forms of music. Adala we are fortunate. Number Tamil film music, I think very lucky that we were influenced by so many different wonderful genres of that. And I've seen musicians, music composers. As a student of music, I'm seeing still all these people influenced by such wonderful music across the world. That's why let's start with a tribute to Pandit Ravi Shankar, our own godfather of world music, with this song.
Our pleasure.
Played on the soprano sax then. Okay.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
மேலதிகமாக நாங்கள் பேசணுமெண்டா Carnatic music was definitely a huge influence in Tamil film music. Correct. In the beginning, in the early stages. அதாவது 50ஆம் ஆண்டுகளில் 60ஆம் ஆண்டுகளில் இல்லையா? ஸோ throughout the years நீங்கள் சொன்ன மாதிரி வந்து வேறு genre வந்து இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் ஆகி, அதாவது it was a fusion of different genres all over the world. ஸோ அதான் இப்போ மட்டும் அப்படி வந்து கொண்டு இருக்குது எங்களுடைய தமிழ் இசை இல்லையா? ஸோ அந்த வகையில் வந்து I want to talk to you about usage of Western instruments such as violin or saxophone and all those instruments, different instruments that are there, what we usually know only from the Western world, how that influence to be used in the Tamil film music.
Very interesting.
I think you are the right person to talk about that.
I've been, as I said, I'm a student of music, so I've been thinking about it and researching it. So definitely I have my little thoughts about it. Definitely, yes, because I've been wondering how these things came, how are they being used across different periods in film music, Tamil film music especially, right? So அந்த வகையில் பார்க்கும்போது I think with the British invasion, I'm going to step back a little further before, right? British invasion, there was a lot of British musicians coming in to India. And then there was also military band for the ceremonies and things happening.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I have to quote something very important. Even the Maharajas those days, some of them loved Western music.
Okay.
Adula vandu Mysore Maharaja was one of the well-known ones. And he, in his court, had an ensemble for Carnatic music, an ensemble for Hindustani music, and one for Western classical music.
Wow, these are like information no one would know, right?
Exactly. And the reason I also wouldn't have known, the only reason I know it is the principal, okay, so stop on this one. He had, in this ensemble, he had a German conductor in his payroll. So from Germany, a German conductor was employed to be the conductor for the orchestra. Avarku assistant-a irundavar da ennodiya teacher, Mr. Abdul Sattarudaiya guru. Our pair, Mr. Charles Dhanraj. He is the guru for our Ilayaraja. Lot of the musicians in Chennai were trained and groomed by him, both in practical and harmony, theory as well. So you can imagine how much that influence has worked on the kingdom of Mysore. Anga vandu he was supporting Western classical music with paid orchestra throughout, like they were employees of the court.
Yeah.
And he had musicians being trained, Western musicians being trained slowly into performing for regular ceremonies. Anga vandu eppdina music vandu used to be written up along the ships then. They didn't have so much of air freight. So notation used to be written for royal ceremonies in Europe somewhere by composers and then brought by ship. So sometimes I believe they would land only a day or two before the actual ceremony.
Okay.
So the musicians have to be so good at reading and performing. So on the level that orchestra was. And Dhanraj Master, that's what we affectionately call him, my guru's guru. He used to train all the musicians and in both reading and in performing, right? He worked under. So that is one of the ways which brought Western music into our fold. Once he moved to Chennai, there were a lot of music directors and musicians who wanted to play other forms. So he was there in Chennai teaching these people, helping arrange all that. In parallel, enna irukna நம்ம Tamil music கேட்டுட்டு இருக்கிற டைம்ல they were also listening to Hindi music too.
Yeah, that's right.
North India music, film music was there, and we had some wonderful composers in North India too, who were exploring with different instruments and instrumentation. Traditional irunda instruments ஒரு period la irundappa kuda they used to try out with double bass. Right? But how they used it, for example, was very minimal. Progressions were very limited. Tabla var edathila seka matanga because mixing was not easy because they used to have one mic and mix everything, right? So it was not easy to separate that in those days. Then technique changed as it went past. Music directors started listening to other forms of music, world music, right? So they're listening to Western music, they're listening to other jazz, and appa vanda early days la vanda they also think they can inculcate some of that music in their music and impart it to their audiences. Idu illama producers and directors who are also very knowledgeable, they go listen to music. Tamil feel that the producers, directors are also they don't stay away from music dialogues, right? So they're also listening, they're traveling. Avangalum, they pick up stuff and say, idala vandu in the piano sound keduchu, why can't we use that? So adhe mari there were actors and directors who used to do that too, I believe. Okay. Who contributed to bringing instruments, orchestration and all that into our field. And the vagela we had South had a really good number of musicians who could arrange in a Western style. I'm talking from, say, Viswanathan Ramut sir. Appa Vedan ஒரு music director இருந்தாரு. அவர் வந்து என்ன பண்ணுவாருன்னா, he used to take actually Western music numbers and make it in Indianized, number lyrics போட்டு. And I think it was a good thing he did that. Like otherwise people wouldn't have listened to Come September or Escape and the mari songs alla eduthu, Ventures songs alla eduthu, Ventures and Come September, all this Ventures was a group, it was an instrumental group, right? And Come September was a piece that was very popular in Europe those days, US. And the tune eduthu he used to do tunes in that. அந்த வகையில வந்த சில songs எல்லாம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா very nice texture and feel. The society also was getting slowly westernized to some extent, right? People were wearing trousers, not not only dhotis and veshtis and things. So they started relishing Western food a little bit. So what's the harm in the music coming into it? So then the instruments started, and to do that music you need harmony kudukununa, you need more harmony generate pandra instruments. So then they started bringing vibraphones, xylophones, pianos, and then the string sections, and then slowly woodwinds, saxophone, clarinet. They've had bass clarinet, baritone sax எல்லாம் வந்து way back in the 40s 50s ல யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. In fact, I picked up one very ancient baritone sax which was used in K.V. Mahadevan sir's unitla use பண்ணிருக்காங்க. So there was a instrument repairer who's no more, Rajamanikam sir. He was the one who used to repair my instruments in Chennai. He was like for everybody, one good repairer and a great soul who helps at the time of need. Our வந்து he used to tell me about these things, how instruments. He was a bandmaster for railways, so that he was a knowledgeable musician, not just a technician. So our he used to tell me all those little snippets, right? How people have used this instrument. I've seen instruments like old bass clarinet from the 40s or 50s, you know. So they've used all the instruments much early, right? Because of when the Western time vandapo, those instruments came in. I do have a collection of some flutes from 1800s. Appo use panna military flutes. I bought a suite of those. I mean, more of an interest to keep, you know, that collection. It's இப்போ வந்து metal flutes பார்ப்பீங்க இல்லையா? இப்போ Western flute they use metal. Those days they were using ebony or wood. So அந்த மாதிரி flutes have also come to India. I personally have a collection of that. I have a very ancient baritone sax from the 40s. So I've seen double basses which were brought by them and used in many songs, many film songs, very old days.
பேசாதவரை நிறைய பேச வச்சுட்டேன். ஒரு சிறிய இடைவேளை பிறகு வந்து உங்களை மீண்டும் சந்திக்கிறேன்.